Hello, I'm Scotty O.
And I'm Melanie.
Welcome to our Tantra Talk, dealing with breath and all the amazing things that it can do. But before we jump into that, let's go ahead and do an Aum to ground and center ourselves.
Yeah. So everybody sit up nice and tall with your spine straight, taking a deep breath. And as you exhale, intone the sound ah with your hand over your heart, just ah. Then move your hand down below the belly button around your sex and intone the sound ooh when you exhale. Inhale. Then bring your hand up to the third eye and intone the sound as you exhale. Perfect. Now blending the three sounds together in the same breath, we'll go through the Aum 3 times.
And if you're watching this at home, we want you to do this with us. Yeah. So don't just sit here and watch us. We want you to do it with us. And you know, the topic today is breath, but breath follows sound, follows energy. So the louder you are, the more breath you have, the more energy you'll have. So do this with Aum and gusto and see how it changes your state.
You want to feel the sound, the breath vibrating through your body. So be open to noticing whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're sensing, your experience. And let's go through it 3 times. Deep, full body breath in.
That's our puppy chowing in. Thank you, Gizmo.
He's very tantric. Oming and ah-oming gets him going.
Okay, so what we're talking about today is breath. So breath, before we jump into that, let's talk about health. You know, in our country, I think breath is essential to health. But in our country, we look at what when we think of health? We think of like healthcare, doctors, medicine. We go on diets, we exercise and so forth. But you know, how long can you go without exercising? Like, your muscles may atrophy and so forth after a certain amount of time, but you can go a long time without actually really exercising and still function as long as you move around and eat. The second thing is, how long can you go without food? Well, you know, some tantrikas are better at this than others, but I know some people that literally have gone for like 30 days without eating anything. They didn't even lose weight. They're like perfectly fine. So you can go quite some time without food. Water, you know, now you're down to days, you know, and that gets more important. But how long can you go without breath? You know, like minutes, you know, I think 6 is a long time, 6 minutes. And it's like we don't think about how important that is. I mean, that just gives you a perspective of how much more important breath is than all these other things, yet we don't really have classes on it. We don't really study it. We don't really practice it unless you're lucky enough.
We don't get trained in breathing growing up as part of our regular curriculum.
And why is that? Because I'm here to tell you that your breath has huge benefits. It can do amazing things for your body. And it is something that's under our control. It's one of the few things that, we'll get to that, but that we can control on a part of our body.
Yeah. And a few minutes of conscious breath work, paying attention to how you're breathing and breathing in deeply, will influence your unconscious breath work later on.
Yeah, it's actually the bridge between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, because your breathing is one of the few parts of your breathing that will happen automatically without your thoughts. And that's your subconscious. But you can direct it pretty easily and tap into that with your conscious. So it actually kind of helps bridge the gap into, so when you're tapping into your unconscious and so forth, breath is one of the keys to getting into there. But before we get into that, why is that healthcare, they don't teach us about breathing? And I think that the problem lies in the fact that the more civilized nations are, the more they get into their head, intellectualized about things, and then we start to get out of touch with our bodies. We get out of touch with, with the simple breathing things that, people have been doing for thousands of years. And it's also, there's no money in it, It's like our system is set up.
It's free!
Yeah, it's free, easy, and everyone can do it. But, gosh, if you could, do you know how many things you could solve and how many billions of dollars the pharmaceutical companies would lose if we just started breathing instead of taking drugs? But, that's, the point is that the breath, it can do amazing things. And the Eastern cultures and so forth, a lot of other countries that are more healthy than our country do this and know this. So I'm here to tell you about how that works. So let's talk about our breathing. So most people don't know this, but we have 3 parts of our lungs, 3 chambers, an upper, middle, and lower. And most people are only using a very small percentage of their breath. In fact, most people in the world use 1/7 of their lung capacity. 1/7. And if you start having more breath, I mean, you can do this right now. If you start taking more breath, what do you feel? More energy, right? I mean, it's like, what it does is it's actually flooding your body with oxygen. It's like cleaning out your blood cells. It's like doing all the things that your body is supposed to do. Our body is meant to work at optimum capacity with full, deep breathing. And most of us don't do that. In fact, one of the things that we do in America for some reason is that when we breathe, we tend to breathe backwards. So what the optimum way of breathing is, when you breathe in, when you take a breath in, your stomach should like grow and expand and so forth. Whereas most people, like, somehow they shrink their stomach again. I think part of that might be because of our culture around, we should have small bellies or something. But
we should always keep our stomachs tucked in, even when breathing.
So basically what we want to do, though, is not. We want to open and breathe. And so
belly
breathe, like breathe. Feel your belly expanding and contracting, and then bring it all the way in when you exhale. Get all the air out. Because, if you don't fully exhale, you're not getting a full breath of fresh air. So we're going to give you some breathing techniques and so forth in a minute, but we're going to talk more about some of the benefits. So, health benefits. One of the reasons that it's so beneficial is that your body has the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system is basically flight or fight response, which you've probably heard about when we studied in school. And what that means is that your body is like stressed, ready to react, ready to do whatever you need to do, and it takes a lot of energy. It drains, and it takes a lot of effort from your body, and it doesn't need to be that way. So the way to tell your body that I don't need to be in sympathetic, I can go into parasympathetic, is to be deep, slow down, and breathe deeper, and breathe slower, and you'll relax. And it's as simple as that. Stress is the leading cause related to almost to death. It's like most illnesses are like stress related and so forth. If you can do nothing else but decrease your stress, that will go a long way towards improving your health. And it's as simple as breathing. It's like checking yourself and just going, okay, let me slow down and breathe. The other thing too is most people breathe about 15 times per minute. If you go down to about 8 times per minute, that activates and optimizes your pituitary gland. If you go down to 4 times per minute, that activates your pineal gland and secretes the most there. And that also starts tapping into your psychic abilities, or if you don't think about it, it just helps you be more present. You become more in tune with your intuition, if you will. And so it's also a way to, like, let's slow down and be aware of what's going on and so forth. So, what else? Do you want to take them through, talk about the complete breath and as a way to increase your breath and so forth?
Sure.
Just kind of the short version, explain how it works.
All right. So we'll do the short version called the condensed complete breath. And what we're going to do is put your hands on your tummy.
And
So below the belly button, tummy.
And make sure your spine is straight.
Yes, sitting up nice and tall. And as you inhale, you want to expand your tummy forward, sideways, and backwards. So inhale, expanding your lower lungs, your tummy forwards, sideways,
Bulge it
and
out.
back.
See if you can get it out as far as you can. And then exhale.
Hold and then exhale.
Now draw it in. Get all the air out. All right.
Inhale again, lower, forward, side, and back.
You're actually stretching yourself that you don't normally do.
And then exhale with a sigh. Moving your hands up to the midsection. You can put your hands in front or kind of sideways. And you're going to inhale, expanding the front, sideways, and back. Hold. Exhale with a sigh.
And the longer version of this is doing one breath per each, like one breath for the front, one breath for the side, one breath for the back. But we're speeding it up for.
Again, another breath with the midsection front, side, back. Moving your hands to your upper lungs,
Or even under your
expanding the top, the front, side, back.
Lift your shoulders.
Hold. Exhale fully. Again, front, side, back. Now the full complete breath. Expanding in one breath your lower, your middle, and your upper lungs.
So we're just going to like build and grow and build and grow. So keep your lower abdomen expanded while you add your middle lungs, and then keep that expanded while you add your top. So it just like fills up like a balloon.
All right, inhale, lower belly, front, side, back. Midsection, front, side, back. Upper lungs, front, side, back.
Stretch.
Lift the shoulders, hold the breath. Exhale.
And one more time. Awesome. So again, I hope you're doing these at home. If you don't, replay this and actually try it out, because, you know, talking about Tantra is one thing, but it's only going to, this really only works if you do it. You know, you practice it and see for yourself what the benefits are. So just from that, you know, I can feel that I have more energy coursing through me, more oxygen. And what happens too is when you do that, if you just do that 3 times a day, just really 3 breaths, then it will start training your system to start breathing more deeply all day long. And so it's pretty amazing how something really simple like that can really start retraining your system and expanding your lung capacity. Yeah. And it's also really good for decreasing gray hair. You know, believe it or not, I get gray hairs occasionally. And when I start getting more gray, I said, oh, time to start breathing more. So I breathe more deeply, and then they kind of go away. And so that's a little technique for you, too. It helps keep you young.
Yeah. I want to teach one more breathing practice that I really love and include as part of our practice for various parts of it. I call it heart breathing. And so with this breathing practice, I imagine that I'm breathing from my pelvic floor, drawing earth energy up my body into my heart with the inhale through my nose.
And the pelvic floor is everything you're sitting on.
Everything you sit on. And then as I exhale, I imagine that breath and energy is leaving my heart with a sigh. So let's practice that. Breathing in from the pelvic floor, drawing the energy up to your heart. Hold it there. Exhale with the ah. That breath really helps us to connect in with divine feminine energy, earth energy, and to draw that up to our hearts and just open our hearts with all that breath and energy and oxygen and send it out with a sigh. It just vibrates the heart and helps the heart to open up and be more expansive. So you're filling your body with breath, energy, and heart-opening expansiveness all at the same time.
Yeah, your breath can also change your emotional state, right? So if you're nervous, you breathe shallowly. If you're up on stage and you want to begin ready to do a speech, take deep breaths, and then your excitement, your anxiety will turn to excitement. Yeah, that's all it is. Anxiety versus oxygen equals excitement. So, and same thing is like when you are angry or upset, so that's why they sometimes say to slow down, take some deep calming breaths, or, take a walk around the blocks, and you have to actually breathe more. It's like, actually, the way you breathe has a direct correlation to your emotional state. So if you want to change your emotion, you can change the way you breathe.
Yeah. And along the topics of anxiety, one of the breath practices I use whenever I'm feeling either a lot of energy coursing through my body or I'm feeling a little anxious or something is I imagine breathing downwards. So I breathe and I just feel like I'm exhaling it down, down, down into the ground.
It's like a grounding.
Inhale, just breathe down, down, down into the ground.
I do it with a low voice
So
too
like
when
this.
I sigh. So there's literally dozens of breaths we could go over, and there's like a breath for every occasion, depending on what you want to do. And like that one's a good one for just calming down. Even the aum that we do is your sound is very similar to your breath. So making sounds and so forth has almost the same kind of effects as your breathing does. So let's talk more about other aspects or benefits of it. This Tantra is a spiritual practice, and I think that for me, your breath and the way you breathe also enables you to access the divine or higher power, feel more connected with nature, with each other. It can have really profound effects. Another benefit of breath is excitement. Like, right, if you want to get more excitement, you want to get more aroused, you want to have orgasmic expansion, talk about, breathing and sound. Here's a little tip. Your sound follows your breathing. If you want to double your orgasm, the intensity and length of it, for most people, they aren't used to making noise. My recommendation is to make noise. Actually, like hum, moan, or I scream. I really do. It's like I used to think that it felt weird and awkward and so forth because I'm not used to making noise because we are used to kind of closing down our emotions and so forth. But when you let loose, it actually opens up a whole other channel in your body of energy, and you will orgasm as long as you scream. So take a big breath, scream, milk it, milk it, milk it, and then when you're out of breath, and scream again. As long as you're screaming, you will continue orgasming. So that's just a tip, and most people will go home and try that. It's like, it really worked, but it might take a little practice. Everything we tell you is a practice as part of Tantra.
And sometimes I scream, and other times I just open up my body to allowing it to make sound. Usually it always starts with this humming vibration of my body, and I just let that hum get louder and louder and louder as I get more and more excited. And I just open myself up to letting flow whatever wants to come out and not forcing anything, but definitely not holding my body tense so that I'm not flowing and letting sound and breath move through my body. And the longer your breath is, the more energy that flows with it. So breath really directs and guides your energy in all manners of things, including orgasm and everything else.
Yeah, you can also breathe into different parts of your body, and it may feel strange, like saying breathe out of your pelvic floor or breathe into your heart or out. But like with practice, you can visualize breathing in and out of every part of your body, and what's cool about that is that you're actually directing your energy flows in those areas, and it could be pretty cool. Like if you have like pain in your chest or something, like breathe into your chest, like breathe in and out. It can actually help healing too. Your breath and your energy follows healing. So that's another thing you can do is like breath helps heal not only your physical and also your emotional state. And so, for instance, one of the things too that happens with Tantra is while you're breathing, while you're moving things, you're kundalini up and down your spine, you're also pushing out and releasing emotional blocks that happen. So there's guilt, shame, fear, stress, trauma. There's, anything you can think of that like shuts us down or presses us. And when we're kids even, we're told like to, shush. And, we're told that too much energy isn't okay with our, parents that, seem half dead to us little, kids that are all excited and crazy. And so we learn to shut our energy down. We learn to like repress ourselves. And what happens is when we repress ourselves, we repress our self-expression, we repress our breath, our voice, and we repress who we are, and then we don't have the energy flowing. We got to release all that. We got to go back to being like little kids, free, self-expressed, open, wow, crazy, screaming, and so forth. And then you'll start feeling energy, and then you'll start, really being alive. So breathe, shout, play. So
give yourself permission. It's okay.
It is okay, and if there's a great way to scream, it should be in the bedroom. Here's the other thing too, maybe bathroom. The other thing too about that is if you have neighbors and you're saying, oh, I couldn't possibly scream because my neighbors might hear me. Guess what you're going to do? Inspire them maybe? It's like, when we go camping, we, make love and so forth, and we finally stop, then usually when we're just resting each other's arms, and we'll start hearing like, popping up over this tent, because other people are like, that's not a bad idea, and then they start making
gave us
too.
permission, let's do that.
Yeah, give other people permission to express themselves and be loud. And then if you've got kids, it's like, it's easy for me to say because maybe I don't have them, but if they're really young, they think you're playing and they're having fun. It's, just make sure you lock the door if you don't want them running in there. But if they are old enough to know better, shouldn't we be setting a good example? And if all that still doesn't work for you, and you just want to practice it, get used to it, take a pillow and scream into the pillow. And don't do that on your partner. That's bad etiquette. But I'm serious. It's like it's better to scream into the pillow than not scream. And practice it, and it becomes easier and better over time. When I first started doing it, it was strange and awkward. And now I literally can't not scream. Like if I'm feeling so much energy, not all the time, I don't always scream, but when I'm really having a powerful experience, I have to scream, or else I think I might burst something in my body. So make noise. If you got nothing else out of this Tantra talk, do that. So okay, so what else can breath do? It gives so many things. So we talked about how it's your access to your subconscious. Oh, it's great for centering your mind, for like quieting the monkey mind, the chatter, for being present and witness consciousness. We talked about that last episode. We gave you a breath for that, but it's like being present and really slowing down and being aware of the present moment is one of the keys to happiness and the keys to enlightenment. And breath is one of the best ways to get there. So it does that. It helps you become more aware, intuitive, if you will. It helps open up your third eye. It helps your healing, both your emotions, because what happens with these emotions is when you release them and all this stuff out, then you're free. Then you don't have these blocks anymore. So it's like when you feel your emotions, fully feel them and express them, get them out of your body. If you don't, they will just be held down or repressed, and they're like volcanoes, and they'll blast later and something, and it doesn't really help. So just feel it, express it, get it out, and you'll be free. So it helps you heal you emotionally. It helps you get rid of baggage. It helps set you up for the future. It improves your health. What else it does? Oh, it helps you have better orgasms. Yeah. So those are some of the things. Anything else you want to add about breath, honey?
Well, let me see if anyone has any questions. For all of you lovely people who joined us today, any questions or anything we can talk about? Yes,
we love to answer questions. Another thing, while we're waiting on questions, that we can talk about is the sa-sa-sa breath, the bated breath. The bated breath. So if you want a breath for increasing your energy, or for getting excited, maybe like getting ready for lovemaking or something, a good one to like get your energy going is called the bated breath, and it's pretty easy. What you do is you take a breath and you go sa 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 sa, and the key to this part is you want to have your diaphragm like coming in and thrusting like. So go ahead and do this with us at home. This is Gizmo. He was the howler earlier. I thought you should know him, but he keeps barking because he's excited about all the energy going on over here. So one more time. That's another breath that you can do to activate your body. The other thing too with breath is transmutation breath. There's something called the transmutation where you basically, there's lots of different ways to do this. The cobra breath, by the way, is the most powerful way that we know of to do this, and there's different levels of cobra breath. But we teach this in a weekend in intensive. We're going to do it on August 4th through 6th. If you're interested in that, check out
Highly recommend it.
But that's really the core breath that allows you to reach some of these higher states of consciousness. It also is fundamental to separating your, for men especially, your orgasm from your ejaculation. Those are two separate things. Yes, you can actually do one without the other in both ways. And so the key here is what you're doing is you're moving the energy up your body instead of just out into the ether, right? So you're basically transmuting it. And what happens is you start to have these full body orgasm experiences without actually ejaculating. And that's the cobra breath is the best transmutation breath. There's a few different ways you can do that.
And one of the beauties of the cobra breath practice is there's multiple cobra breaths. They build layer upon layer of each other, and you have to get one into your system before moving on to the next one. And they really focus on just opening up your whole body and releasing stuff and opening up all your chakras so you're really balanced and grounded in all of your chakras. And the first level of the cosmic cobra breath really goes into connecting you with your root and your third eye. So it really sends a lot of energy and power and stuff all the way up to your third eye to waken your third eye up so you can see beyond.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful and amazing what simple breathing or complex breathing can do for you.
Yeah, and like everything else, this is a practice. So you might do one of these breaths the first time and go, whatever. But when you do them over time, they get easier, it gets more fun, and you'll start seeing more and more benefits out of it. You know, just try it out. Like, try just doing a deep breath, a complete breath, 3 times a day for like the next week or two, and just see, you know, what happens. And then if you start liking it, make it part of your daily ritual. And that's when you'll really start, months and years from now, you'll really start reaping the benefits of it. So it's no joke. Your breath is really key to so many amazing things, and there's so much that's involved. I mean, there's whole courses. In fact, there's whole spiritual groups. Like there's millions of people that I can think of, or this one spiritual path, and all they do is 3 breaths. That's it. That's everything that they really focus on. You know, it's like so there's a lot to just you know, having good breaths. But there's so many we can go into all day. But what we want you to do is come check it out. We have online, if you want to get more information on this, ecstatichearts.com is our website. Oh, we didn't actually put that down anyway. But the ecstatichearts.com is our website. We have some online training videos if you want more information that we can support you in. And
we've got a Taste of Tantra series and a Tantra Techniques series. So you can start learning online, and we do have our next Cobra Breath 1, The Path to Ecstasy, coming up here the first weekend of August in Austin, Texas. So come join us.
Yeah, and we still have the early bird discount on that for $3.95 if interested. But anyway, and that's really one of the coolest ways that we know how to help you really launch yourself into Tantra, because having these talks are great, but when you really spend a weekend with other dedicated people and really have the energy of the group dynamic and really delve into all these amazing techniques and build Savan itself, then like real magic can happen. Then you're prepared to actually have a tantric practice that can alter your lives.
Yeah,
So,
and emerging into a weekend is just so powerful. You really get the practices into your body. You really get the energy into your body, and you're much more equipped to take that out with you and continue practicing afterwards. And they can make such a big impact on you personally. And no partner's needed, so it's something that you start working on with yourself. And of course, you can bring a partner with you and go on a journey together, but it's not necessary either.
So if you do nothing else, don't forget to breathe, make some sound. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us, and tune in next time every Tuesday at 6. Tantra Talks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.